My people, the news we are hearing from Borno is a very serious one. The town of Kirawa, which is right there on the border between Nigeria and Cameroon, came under attack. It was militants that stormed the community. And in just a short time, everything turned upside down. Houses were set on fire, even the palace of the district head was burnt down, and the military barracks was not spared. The whole community was thrown into confusion. And what happened next was that thousands of people had to run for their lives. More than 5,000 residents, including the district head himself, crossed into Cameroon just to find safety. Now, before I continue, if you are finding this gist useful and you like the way I am breaking it down for you, please don't forget to like this video right now and also subscribe so that you won't miss any of our updates. That support helps us continue bringing you the real news in a simple way everyone can follow. So, back to Kirawa. Eyewitnesses said that once the attackers entered, they came in numbers, and before anybody could resist, fire had already started in different parts of the community. People grabbed what they could carry, some packed their children onto trucks, others ran on foot. Imagine mothers with small babies trekking in the night, crossing rough bush paths just to get to Cameroon. It was that desperate. And when they reached the border, they joined others who were already trying to find a safe place to sleep. The attackers, who many reports are linking to Boko Haram, even recorded themselves, chanting that victory belongs to God, while showing houses they set ablaze. That video was later shared online. Whether it was propaganda or just to intimidate people, one thing is clear. The community has been badly affected and is now almost empty. And this is not the first time, my people. Over the years, Borno State, especially towns near the border, have faced repeated attacks. Sometimes it is to seize food supplies, sometimes to prove strength, sometimes to send a message. And every time it is innocent people that suffer the most. Children leave school, families lose their homes, farmers cannot go back to their farms. And before you know it, hunger follows. Please, pause for a moment and hit that like button. And if you have not subscribed yet, kindly do that now so you can always get the latest updates directly. Now let us talk about the humanitarian side of this story. More than 5,000 people is not a small number. When they reach Cameroon, they are joining refugee camps that are already struggling. Food, water, shelter, and medicine are always in short supply. Some people arrive with only the clothes they are wearing. It means they will need everything from blankets to mosquito nets and even safe water to drink. Aid agencies like the UN, the Red Cross, and local organizations usually try to step in, but the truth is the need is far bigger than the resources available. That is why we must also think about how to support displaced families, whether by sharing accurate information or supporting trusted humanitarian groups that are on the ground. And let me remind you again, if you are following this story and you appreciate the way I am giving it to you step by step, please give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. That way, more people will hear this story. Now, what about security response? Usually, after such incidents, officials come out to condemn the attack, promise more troops, and reassure the people. But from what locals are saying, sometimes the response comes late or not strong enough. That's why communities often feel left on their own. People want to see real protection, not just words. If you were in Kirawa that night, hearing gunshots, seeing fire, and running with your children, would you feel that the promises were enough? That's the real question we must keep asking. This is not only about one village. Attacks like these have ripple effects. They spread fear to nearby towns. They cut off farming and trade, and they make the whole border area unstable. When people cannot farm, food prices go up. When schools are closed, children lose years of education. And when militants spread their videos online, they are also trying to send a message that they are still strong. That is why the fight is not just physical, it is also about information, community strength, and rebuilding trust. Remember to like this video, my people, and subscribe right now if you haven't already. Let's keep this channel growing so we can continue talking about these important issues in a clear and safe way. Now, let me add another important angle. Even though life is hard, the resilience of the people in Borno is something we must recognize. Time and time again, when families are displaced, they still find a way to support one another. Local leaders coordinate escape routes, neighbors share food with neighbors, and people continue to show strength even in the face of fear. But resilience alone is not enough. Without proper support, shelter, education, healthcare, and long-term rebuilding, that resilience will be stretched to the breaking point. That is why both Nigeria and international partners must act quickly and with seriousness. Another thing to think about is how this crisis puts pressure on Cameroon too. The border communities there already host thousands of Nigerian refugees from past years. When more arrive suddenly, the strain on food, water, and services becomes heavier. And sometimes we hear stories of forced returns, where refugees are pushed back across the border before it is safe.
Allahu Akbar. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Mun gode wa Allah, wannan shine baraki na wani gari na suna shi bala sun zo na Kirawa ne. Allahu Akbar. Allah ya ba mu nasara kansu. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Mun gode wa Allah. Wannan shine barakin Kirawa. Allah ya ba mu izina kai shiga nan. Wannan mota ne muna konawa. Alhamdulillah.
Daga daidai na duwar nokin madar ba kuma lartrabla na datradin adun kuskuna watirna tadin jonko.
Displaced people must be protected and treated with dignity. If you are listening to me right now, please, I want you to hit that like button and drop a comment. Tell me, how do you think ordinary Nigerians can support families displaced by these attacks? Leave your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe so you can join the conversation every time we bring you updates. Now, as I round this gist, let me recap. Kirawa town in Borno was attacked. Houses, the palace, and even a barracks were set ablaze. More than 5,000 people fled into Cameroon, leaving the community almost empty. The attackers recorded themselves chanting and celebrating, which shows the propaganda side of this crisis. Families are now displaced, facing hunger, lack of shelter, and uncertainty. Authorities have promised to respond, but locals still need stronger protection. The wider impact will touch on food, education, and the general stability of the region. My people, this is a very serious reminder of why security and humanitarian support must go hand in hand. It is not just about fighting militants. It is also about protecting civilians, rebuilding communities, and giving children a chance for a better future. Before I close, once again, please like this video right now if you have not done so, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of our future updates. Your support helps us keep telling these stories in a clear, respectful, and engaging way. When we look at the bigger picture, Kirawa is not just an isolated case. Over the past months, many communities in Borno and across the northeast have faced similar raids. Some are small attacks that don't even make it into the news. Others are bigger, like what happened in Kirawa. What this shows us is that the conflict is not finished yet. Even when we hear that some areas are safer, there are still pockets where militants operate freely, especially in border zones and remote villages. Now, this is very important. The Northeast has seen years of humanitarian crisis. According to different aid reports, more than 2 million Nigerians are internally displaced within the country, living in camps or host communities. And when you add those who have crossed into Cameroon, Niger, and Chad, the number goes even higher. Imagine that, millions of people who cannot return to their original homes because of insecurity. That's the wider picture Kirawa is part of. And please, my people, as you are following this, just pause a moment and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe too. Your support helps this channel keep shining light on these hidden stories. Now, international aid plays a big role. Organizations like UNHCR, UNICEF, the Red Cross, Doctors Without Borders, they all have a presence in the Northeast. They provide food, shelter, healthcare, and education for displaced children. But here is the challenge. The demand is much higher than what they can supply. When funding is cut or delayed, families feel it immediately. Less food in the camps, fewer medicines, fewer teachers for the children. That is why every fresh wave of displacement, like the one from Kirawa, adds extra weight to an already heavy situation. Let's also talk about the psychological side. People who run from attacks don't just lose their homes, they also carry trauma. Children see things no child should ever see. Parents worry about how to protect their families, and when you live in that fear for years, it affects how communities rebuild. So when we say humanitarian response, it's not only about food and water, it is also about counseling, protection, and hope for the future. Now, what can ordinary Nigerians and even people outside do? First, be careful with information. Many times after attacks, fake news and old videos are spread online. That only increases fear. The best thing is to share verified reports and encourage calm. Second, if you want to support, connect with trusted organizations. Don't fall for random fundraising links. Support groups that are accountable, because the families really need that help. Before I continue deeper, please, my friends, remember to like this video and subscribe if you are new here. That simple click helps us a lot, and it means you won't miss any updates. Now, how does this connect to the wider region? The Northeast crisis is not only Nigeria's problem. Cameroon, Niger, and Chad are all part of it because the borders are porous, militants move across, refugees move across, and the economies of border towns are affected. This is why the Lake Chad Basin Commission and the Multinational Joint Task Force were formed so that different countries can fight the problem together. But cooperation is not always smooth. Each country has its own security challenges and limited resources. That is why progress is slow. Another thing that viewers should know, attacks like this also disrupt development projects. For example, when a village is attacked and people leave, schools shut down, roads are abandoned, farming stops. Then, when international partners want to build or invest, they hold back because the area is unstable. So the cost of insecurity is not only human suffering, it is also economic. It keeps the region poorer. My people, please hit that like button now and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's keep this family growing. Let's also think about how the media covers this. Sometimes attacks in smaller towns don't get much national attention, but the people there are Nigerians too. They deserve to be heard. That is why platforms like this channel are important. We can bring the gist to you in plain English so that the whole country is aware. And awareness is the first step to pressure leaders and policymakers to act with urgency. So, looking forward, what do we want to see? We want stronger protection for communities. We want displaced families to get not just emergency food, but a chance to rebuild their lives. We want children to return to school without fear. And we want international support to remain steady because the crisis is not over yet. Let me ask you, my people, do you think enough is being done for people in the Northeast? Drop your thoughts in the comments section, but keep it respectful and solution-focused. Let's share ideas because this is about human lives. Before I close the gist, let me summarize everything again, nice and clear. Kirawa town in Borno was attacked. Militants set buildings on fire, including the district head's palace and the barracks. More than 5,000 residents, including the traditional leader, ran into Cameroon for safety. The attackers recorded themselves chanting, but what remains is a humanitarian crisis. Families are now displaced, aid is stretched, and the whole Northeast feels the ripple effect. This connects to the wider challenge of insurgency in Nigeria and neighboring countries. And it reminds us that the crisis is ongoing. So please like this video right now, subscribe to this channel, and share the story responsibly. That way, more people will understand what is happening and join in supporting the affected families in safe, positive ways.